Hi, welcome to another junior geometry video. We're going to chat about bearings. Now, bearing is a more accurate way to measure direction. We looked in the last video at compass points, and we may say, oh, I'm heading in a east direction. But if you weren't quite heading in east, we're going to use bearings to give us a more accurate way to measure direction. A bearing is an angle that is between 0, 0 degrees and 360 degrees. It must have 3 digits. So this is where we're going to have to get our head around it. If we're heading in on a bearing of 45 degrees, we must put a 0 to write it as 045 degrees. It is measured clockwise from north. Bearings are measured clockwise from north. All right, let's get into GeoGebra and show you what we mean. So here we go. Let me just for a moment take away north. Imagine we're at point A and we want to head in this direction to point B, right? We're at point A, we want to walk to direction point B. Well, let me put north, and as I said before, north is often written straight up the page. For most maps, that's the way they design the map, right? So we need to measure this angle in here. So I'm going to pull up a protractor. Here's my protractor. Remind you how to do this. Stick the protractor on the vertex. We're going to start reading from north and measure it clockwise, which will be in this direction down to B. So let's start reading, and we have to use the outside numbers. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's very close to halfway between 50 and 60, but it's not exactly halfway. So my guess is 54 degrees. 54 degrees. But we can't have 54. We must write it as, oh, it's 55 degrees. So they reckon it's exactly halfway. Maybe I haven't lined up my protractor properly. But notice we had to put a 0 at the front to make 055 degrees. We couldn't just write down 55 degrees. Now, if you wrote down 54 like I was going to guess, that would be fine because you're allowed to be a couple of degrees out on your protractor. So what I'm trying to get at is bearings are measured from north. Now, north is the bearing of 0, 0, 0, 0. That's north. If I want to head north, that's the bearing of 0, 0, 0, 0. Now, as I move around clockwise, the bearing gets larger. Notice we must have to have that 0 there to make it 3 digits. 45 degrees is halfway between north and east. So that is halfway. 045 degrees is halfway between north and east. That's northeast. Right, as I get down to here, I'll get to 90 degrees. 90 degrees is 090 degrees, 090 degrees. That's east. So if I said I'm heading east, that's 090. Let's keep going. As I keep going around my bearing, notice once I get past 100, I'll just take it back a bit. Once I get past 100, I've got 3 digits, so I don't need to put a 0 anymore. Don't need a 0. So what would south be? South would be 180 degrees. Now I'd keep going further around. Remember, we're measuring clockwise, so now we're measuring all the way around. And west would be 270 degrees, and then I'd keep going all the way back up to the start. When I get to the start, I'm back at 000 degrees, which is north again. Right, so see if I can get one more problem in before we finish up. Here's a map of the North Island, and let's fly. Let me just get rid of the answer and north for now. Let's fly from Wellington, where I live, and let's fly up to beautiful city of Napier. So there we go, Wellington to Napier. So now just ditch the map for a moment, bring up north. I'm not going to use my protractor, but imagine I use my protractor to measure that angle. The angle would come out to be 43 degrees, but we'd have to write it as a bearing of 043 degrees. All right, I think I've covered everything for bearings. So thank you so much for watching the video. Remember, it is an angle between 0, 0 degrees and 360, must have 3 digits, and it's measured clockwise from north. All right, thanks so much for watching.